Well, hey everybody, hope you're doing great. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how to select and how to identify your target audience. This is crucial. Everything we've talked about up until now is crucial. It builds upon itself. But if you don't have a vision for the specific type of industry and professional title of a person or an audience, then there's going to be some struggle down the road, some serious struggle, maybe to the point where you think, hey, this isn't for me, or there's no money here, or hey, I'm just not getting speaking engagements, whether you're getting paid or not. So this is really, really important. I wouldn't say it's simple, but there is a process. In fact, there's a process to most things in life. But this is a process that I don't feel is too complicated. It's fairly simple. I've had people tell me that. This is also module 3 in the book. So for some of you, this might be a refresh. And for some of you, if you've not already read through my entire book, Paid to Speak, respectfully, that's on you. You've got access to the audio book, the ebook, and the print. I don't just give that out. I mean, I do for SPT because I want everybody to be successful. At least I want you to know my process. Okay, so today we're going to dive right into that, all right? Now, in a moment though, well, we will. I want to just kind of give a shout out and a kudos real quick for everybody that was involved with our speaker showcase. Everybody, the committee, the speakers, the people that donated. I mean, thank you. Bob Kelly, Ed Sansbury, Rufus Stevens, Norm Wood, Vidya Rahman, Joy Carter, Jeremy Torrisk, Joy, I think I've said Joyce. Anyway, Blanca, thank you. Look, we had a wonderful, wonderful turnout. We raised $2,476 for the ALS Foundation. We had 104 registrants. Folks, we had more registrants than, let's just say some districts did for their conference. The fact we raised money, the fact we had a kind of a charitable component to it, awesome. Well worth it. Thank you all so much. And if you want to consider being involved with future showcases, then I would say let me know, because we will be having a debrief meeting in the next few weeks, and that will probably be some of our decision making if we want to do this again in the fall. Okay. So speaking of our debrief meeting or our next meeting, our club meeting, our next one is June 1st, Tuesday, June 1st. Not depending when you're watching this, it could be right around the corner, or you got a little bit of time. But point is, hey, it's our monthly meeting. Come prepared with a speech. Come prepared with a speech, a 5-minute bit of a presentation. So anyway, just I can't emphasize that enough how important that is, okay? So folks, today, crucial topic, how to identify your target audience. And as I mentioned just a moment ago, this is actually, every video, everything that we've done up until now, it builds upon itself. That's why when I wrote my book Paid to Speak, I wrote it not in chapters, but in modules. Modules build upon themselves. So if you are following through and you're doing the work, then you know that we're in module 3 right now with selecting or finding really speaking opportunities. And that starts with knowing who your target audience is. And just as a reminder too, at the end of every single module, I have a checklist. And that checklist walks you through to make sure, hey, before you jump to the next section, have you already completed, or at least are you working on, or at least do you understand the concept of what has built us to where we are currently? Because today, if you don't already have your program, if you don't already have a program, and we've talked about this for 2 months, we talked about the elements of a program. Okay, if you already haven't outlined that program and it's not a script, but you've storyboarded it. You know exactly where the audience should laugh, where they should be moving, where they should be reflecting, where they should be writing down, where they should be happy, where they should be empathic, everything. You have to craft your speech. A lot of folks still have gotten some scribbles down. That's great, but you need to invest a couple hours to get this right here. Because if you're doing outreach and you don't have your speech ready, when you get asked that question, well, what do you speak on? Or I just don't, in my opinion too, I don't think the universe really knows that we're ready. So we have to tell the universe that we're ready. We have to show the universe that we're ready. That energy will come back. I have multiple examples of that in my life. It was just waiting for me to finally hold myself accountable. We've also talked about slide design, right? That was one of our most recent presentations to help you with how to actually design your slides. All right. So look, today, it's module 3. It's all about speaking opportunities. And there's 2 different types of ways that I have found. This is just not just from my experience, but also from the experience of me watching a lot of other speakers, hiring coaches, having mentors. They basically all kind of said the same thing. There's outreach that you do, right? There's outreach that I do. I do outreach every single week. I spend hours in outreach, right? Getting that one speaking engagement is a lot of work sometimes. And sometimes, guess what? It comes right to you, and that's the in-reach. And so today we're not going to focus too much on the in-reach, although I will give you a quick shout out to Gig Salad, Thumbtack, Google Alerts, having a pop in on your website with a good contact page. Look, those are all ways that opportunities come to me, but we're not going to focus on those today. Those might be for the next month. Today, what we're going to focus on is the outreach. And we can't outreach without having a target audience, okay? Because we have to know exactly who we're shooting for. So think of it like this. Ready, aim, fire. All right, let me say that one more time. Ready, aim, fire. What do you think a lot of people do? They fire, ready, aim. I mean, literally, think about that. They get ready, then they fire. Like a shotgun, like, poof, and then they aim. So it's definitely backwards. And when we're talking about building a business in anything, if we're going to build a business and we want to be successful, we want to have results that we can definitely measure. We're going to have focus, okay? Think of it like this. I have a fun metaphor. If any of you have watched me present before, a lot of metaphors. Think of it like this, chasing squirrels. My grandmother used to live in this big kind of area in Ohio where I go outside and there's squirrels everywhere. And as a young kid, guess what I would do? Chase them, right? And now there's kind of this thing where, when you get distracted by shiny objects, it's like, oh, squirrel, right? You have a little bit of fun with that. But the point is, if I tried to catch all those squirrels at the same time, guess what? There's no way that would happen. It would be literally impossible to catch all those squirrels. So what do we have to do? We have to focus on one. We got to do what a cheetah does or a lion does. If you want to catch that prey, if you want to be successful, if you want to survive, you're going to have to focus on one at a time. So look, yes, all of us have multiple groups that we could speak to. All of us. Yes, you have multiple groups. Yes, I talk about a universal message that will help you be successful. But every speaker has to pick a lane. You have to focus. And know, hey, once I crush this association out or this industry, then I have next ones lined up. Right now, I've got over 10 groups that are on my top 10 list. But what do? I focus one at a time. Okay, so what we're going to have to do today, friends, is follow one course until what? Squirrel. All right, so we have to focus. And a lot of people, from my experience, I've struggled with this. And from a lot of experience, just working with other people, this is where a lot of people struggle. So they don't struggle finding speaking engagements. They struggle actually with their own focus. Today, I want to help you with that. Okay? So let's jump right into it. All right, so our target audience. All right, now if you go into Paid to Speak, go to page 57. I try to make it real simple for you, okay? One way, and if you want to even read through this with me, one way to identify your target group is to think of the specific position title on a business card of the person sitting in your ideal audience. For example, are they a director of marketing, director of human resources, a CPA, a teacher, a principal, an attorney, an auditor, a branch manager, IT manager, project manager, sales manager? Are they a director of student activities at a college, a director of Greek life, et cetera, et cetera? This is how specific that you need to be starting off. Okay, does that make sense? So right now I would hit pause and just say, hey, start making a list. Here's the titles on a business card of the people that I feel would be a great fit for me, period. Okay, start doing that. And what we would do, or what I'd encourage you to do, I'm here to help you. But what you'll need to do is start then kind of comparing, picking maybe 10 titles, come up with top 5, top 3, and then pick the one. And then maybe rank the other ones while you're at it, okay? And as I mentioned just a second ago, yes, okay, I've always encouraged this with folks. Yes, your speech, you should have a universal speech. So why, if your talk is ideal for a variety of different groups, why limit yourself? You're not limiting yourself. You're putting a business hat on, and you're going to be focusing your outreach. If you try to speak to a variety of different groups, all in different industries or different associations at once, you will get exhausted. You will quit. I've never met a successful speaker, and I've met a lot of them, Hall of Fame speakers, certified speaking professionals. Many of you know I'm on the board for National Speakers Association. Never met a successful speaker that didn't have focus with a specific group when they started out, and even when they wanted to grow in a certain way. So when I want to grow my own speaking, you know what I do? I identify new groups, and then I pick one. It's that simple. So maybe you've never done this before. I don't know, but I want you to give this a try. Just like the speaker storyboard. Okay, you've got these assumptions. You've maybe been doing this for a while. You've been trying, or maybe you're brand new into it. If you don't follow a proven process that already works and try to figure something else on your own or take shortcuts, trust me, the results you're going to struggle with there. And I feel that passion about it, and I am that direct for a reason to help you. Okay, so just give this a try. Now, one other important thing, speaker tip, and I've got many of these speaker tips throughout my book. Focus on associations first that belong within your target industry. Do not start out by contacting companies one by one. I see a lot of speakers do this. Don't go one by one by one. No. You're going to get exhausted. How about you put yourself into the ideal target association in that industry, where then you're speaking at a conference, there's maybe 50 people in front of you at a breakout, maybe 100 virtually, or heck, what I want to help you with, what I do, I get that keynote. Now I'm in front of everybody, right? So if I was going to go one by one by one by one by one by one by one for all the people in that audience and contact them and their companies, that'd be exhausting. And guess what? I did that. I did that my first year. Nearly quit on multiple occasions. Read the preface in Paid to Speak. You know I almost quit on numerous occasions. It was a mentor, a coach really, that I hired, Kirk, who helped me say, hey, stop doing that. You don't know what he basically was like, if you want to do what I'm doing, then do what I've done. So guess what? I got smart. All right. Now, I'm going to give you some criteria now on what I look for with verifying a target audience that has paid potential. Because some of you, again, you might say, well, hey, I want to speak to Toastmasters groups, or I want to speak to Rotary groups, or I want to speak to, some of folks, women's organizations or men's organizations. Okay, great. Do you want to get paid? There's the difference. I could speak every single day. You could speak every single day. Be busy. Speak 365 days a year and never get paid. Because you're not talking to the right audience. You're not talking to people who can pay you. They don't have paid potential. So here are the tips that I share. And really, it's 3 criteria. It used to be 2. Now it's 3. And here's why. Number 1, I look for structure. Number 2, I look for events. I hope this is not the first time you've heard this from me. I talk about this a lot. This is a fairly simple concept. It requires us to do some digging and some homework. But the 2 things I look for initially are structure and events. Meaning, an organization or an association that has a statewide structure and a strong statewide structure. Multiple chapters in a state. There's a state group. State hosts a state conference, maybe a regional group and a national group. Okay, that's structure. I'll give you some examples of that. And then if they have a structure, guess what they're going to have? They're going to have events, conferences, chapter meetings, specialty membership drives, banquets, all sorts of activities where they are looking for speakers. And if they're charging registration fee for that event, they expect 200, 300 people. You can find this out. I walk you through how to do it in the book. Then guess what? Multiply 199 or 99 or 499 times a couple hundred people. Oh, that's how they have budget to pay speakers. And a meeting planner, an executive, an agent, conference organizers, A lot of them are volunteers of that group. Guess what? They know if they're going to get a great speaker, they got to pay for it. So it kind of, think of it from their perspective. They're looking for a quality speaker, okay? Now, the third and the bonus, friends, is this. I look for highly regulated industries. So think about what you do or what you've done in the past. There's not a profession out there that isn't regulated, where meaning the people, the professionals in or that are doing that work have to be certified. They have to have gotten professional development credit, right? If you're going to be a teacher, you have to be certified to be a teacher. If you are a CPA, you got to be certified to be a CPA. If you are going to do HR, well, you could be a generalist, right? You could be an entry-level person and a frontline person. But if you're really going to be professional, you're going to have gotten some education, gotten some training and certification on it. And that's what I look for. I look for the most highly regulated industries, because where do people get that certification? They get it from attending events, webinars, conferences. Well, as a speaker, that's what I'm helping you do. If you have followed the structure in the events, and there's a lot of them, then it will be highly regulated. That simple, okay? Now, I encourage you again, focus on the most highly regulated industries and then seek out the best association that belongs to it for speaking opportunities. So you might have a couple, but what I want to encourage you to do is find that one, okay? And when you do, a properly qualified and verified target association will have a state association model that you can replicate for most every state across the country. Now, what I mean by that is if there is the North Carolina Association of CPAs, and I keep using CPAs, or North Carolina Association of HR, or North Carolina Association of Bankers, North Carolina Association of Teachers, high school principals. Insert work, whatever the profession is. If there's a North Carolina Association, there's going to be a Virginia. There's going to be a Florida. There's going to be a Texas. There's going to be a California, a Idaho. So there are some small states, maybe in the Northeast, that might combine. Like there might be, like if there's North and South Dakota, there might be a Dakotas chapter of blank. So, not 100% there'll be another 49 other groups, but you're going to get at least a solid 30 to 35 state chapters. That is what we're looking for. Does that make sense? That's why if you focus on the right target audience, you don't need to pick any other groups. Like if you focus on the right target association, you don't need to pick any others. One should keep you busy enough. And when you focus on one and you start speaking to them, then you will not only get to know them and the issues and challenges that they face, you'll be able to talk their lingo better, and your name will begin to precede you. Your reputation. If you talk to one group, why can't you talk to the other 49? Right? And especially by getting testimonials, if you want, read How I Monetize Free or Pro Bono Speeches. Read all that. You'll find how to set yourself up with testimonials, recommendations, and referrals to other groups. Plus, when they know that you've spoken for other groups, you're more likely to be hired for theirs as well. Or if you're not even hired, selected. Okay? Because yes, there are some, you're going to have to prime this pump a little bit. Okay? All right. Now, if you go into Module 3, and if you are reading the book, then you have that private link where you can download all these free worksheets where I'm literally walking you through this. Okay? So if I'm not coaching you one-on-one, then coach yourself. And as a coach, how you should coach yourself is, I'm going to work through these modules. Kevin's given me worksheets, or a worksheet for each module. Let's not complicate the game, with links to resources and things that are going to help you complete this. So I walk you through how to do this in Module 3. I'm not just telling you how to do it, I'm walking you through it as well. All right? So I encourage you to take advantage of that. So, all right, so let's say, all right, I'm not really sure, Kevin, I got my industries, or maybe there are a couple industries. How do I find my ideal target association? Well, remember, we're looking for structure and events, okay? So if I just type up marketing organizations, as you see here, okay? So I just typed up marketing organizations. I'm going to get a list on Google with quite a few, all right? And if you see here on page 57, I walk you through how I do this in Paid to Speak, and you can see all the different marketing organizations that are there. And so then there's usually 2 or 3 that are kind of the top, and there's usually one of those 2 or 3 that is the premier. And that's the one that we need to kind of dive deep in, look at structure and events? Do they have a state structure? How many chapters are in the state? And if you find that there's only one chapter, or maybe there's only one group in the state, yes, it has structure, but it's not a strong structure. What we are looking for is 3 to 4 to 5 plus chapters within a state, okay? Because they have meetings. And if they've got multiple groups in a state, then they're going to have a state conference, or they should. For example, here I am in North Carolina, and we got Bob out in Arizona. We got Jeremy and others got down in Florida, folks in Virginia. Anyway, point is, just think of your state. Think of the big cities in your state. Like in North Carolina, Charlotte, the Triad, probably East Coast like Wilmington, definitely Raleigh. Right there should be 4 alone. 4 right there. Maybe a Greenville and Asheville. Boom, boom. See? Already we're at 5 or 6? So it's not that difficult to do. And most states have a structure like this, okay? And I'll be honest, and I admit to folks about when I first started, I was told by my coach, hey, pick human resource organizations if you are interested in employee development and leadership training. So I type up human resource associations, and guess what I find? Boom. Several groups. There are several groups that do this. All these have invited me to speak at some point. But what I focused on was SHRM, okay? The Society for Human Resource Management. Catch this, folks. They've got 14 chapters in North Carolina alone. SHRM alone was how I did 6 figures in my speaking business. Not because it was SHRM, but because I worked it. I followed my process. I created my process that I'm sharing with you. So I'm not suggesting everybody jump into SHRM. SHRM is very flooded with speakers. And you're going to have to really know how to speak to human resource officers. Many of you do. But if you really want to take it to that next level, that next gear, it's not just sending them your program. You're going to have to stand out. And one way you stand out is stand up. You got a nice little virtual little element going on where they know that you're a professional because they get inquired about by many, many speakers. Okay? But that's what I did with SHRM because they have that structure and they have those events. All right. Now, what I want you to think about now is, okay, how do I outreach then to them? If they have the structure and events, then what? Well, I'll be honest with you. Do you have a website? Do you have a speaker page? Do you have a demo video? What do you have, right? How are you going to reach out to them? That's something that we definitely need to be talking about. We need to be talking about all those things. We haven't really done that yet, but this is the key. Before we get into website design, demo video, speaker one pages, I could help. There's resources at our fingertips to get all that done, but we have to know kind of who we want to talk to first, which is why I felt this was priority. All right. So whether or not you have experience in that association, do your homework on them. Find out when is their next conferences, their chapter meetings. What are their top issues, their challenges, their buzzwords? How can you help them with your program? Remember, you're the messenger of your product. Your product is the program. So how is your program relevant? How is it relatable to them? You probably just heard my daughter agree with me, okay? Is it relevant? Is it, and then what I'd encourage you to do, and if you look at page 70, folks, I walk you through how to actually outreach. How to actually outreach. So, look, and this is just a sample. I got multiple ways that I outreach depending on what information I find. But if you want to know exactly how I outreach, and guess what? One of the things I do now is I use BombBomb for a video like this that's less than 1 minute, just to simply say, hey, blah, 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 give them a little tour of my studio and just say, blah, blah, blah. So, she is loud this morning, and my shotgun microphone may have not picked that up. I don't know. Maybe it did. If you heard it, oh well. Sorry about that. But outreach, you have examples of that on page 70, okay? Now you might be asking, all right, well, if I just outreach, do I tell them I have a speaking fee or not? Well, it kind of depends. It depends on are you already familiar with this? Have you already spoken to them several times? You are going to have, I'll be direct. Yes, you're going to have to speak for free to get some of those beginning opportunities. But once you've spoken for 2 or 3 and your speech is ready, you should have inquiries from those pro bono speeches, and that's how you monetize a free speech. So what you're looking for right now, and the focus of this, is speaking opportunities. If I don't have inquiries after I've spoken somewhere, then I know I'm not ready yet. There's some work that still needs to be done. So don't feel bad. I'm with you. I'm right with you. I just spoke for the Eastern States Insulation Contractors Association. Oh, Lordy. But the point is, I had 4 inquiries after that speech was over. 4. For a group I never even talked to because I did my homework. I prepared. I did what I just shared with you, my tips. Studied the heck out of them. And then I went into it strategically. So anyways, but yes, you should go into this expecting to prime your pump, okay? And if you have verified the association correctly, catch this. If you're priming the pump, the water's there, but you're going to have to work it to get it to begin to flow. It's that simple, all right? So that is how you begin the process of identifying your target audience, okay? Now let me jump in. I know this is it's challenging. I know it might be a little bit overwhelming, but don't let it. You're gonna have to spend a couple hours to do this. So look at your industries, look at associations, and have paid to speak. Unless this video is gonna be a full 2-hour training, you got paid to speak right next to you that's walking you through what I've just shared with you in 10 minutes or so. Now, there are some other ways. We talked about outreach and inreach. One more inreach is the paid event calendar that you all get as a bonus of being part of Speaking Professionally Toastmasters, okay? So the paid event calendar literally gives you groups that are looking for speakers at the structured level, okay? And there is a tutorial video that I'm sharing in the Facebook group. There's a tutorial video where you get the calendar database. So, you've got these resources right there. I also would encourage you to look at the association directory. 200,000 association executives right there. Do a little bit of homework. Find out more about their association. You got 2 huge resources as part of Speaking Professionally Toastmasters. Okay? So let's kind of focus on the paid event calendar. Look what you're going to get. You get the event notification, right? The actual name of the event, and kind of more about the specific group that's hosting it. So if you look at this is the Mutual Insurance Association of Iowa. Okay? Just by seeing that alone, the Mutual Insurance Association of Iowa, is that a good thing? Now you might think, well, Iowa, gosh, no, what you're thinking about is structure. Well, if there's Iowa, there's probably going to be a Mutual Insurance Association of Florida, of Texas, of North Carolina, of Oregon. Yes or yes? Absolutely. So that's good. That's what we're wanting, okay? You also get the event website to learn more information about the event, see if they have a theme, get specifics info about that event. You get the contact information of that person looking to hire speakers, and they have paid in the past. That's how they get on this list. I pay a lot of money to get this list, friends. You get the prior agenda. You also get the prior speaker often. You can, if it's not on this list, you can just dive and look at the link and find it as well. Okay? And you can even get the prior budget that they paid, because a lot of times these speakers, you can look at and see what they charge for their speaking, which would be the budget of that event. And then also a lot more about that group, okay? So, look, that's just one. Here's another one, the Western Association of College and University Business Officers. So if there's the Western Association of College and University Business Officers, there's probably going to be an Eastern, a Northern, a Southern. Point is, this is going to be a weak structure on this one, but I'm at least giving you this event. If this is a fit, look at it, right? And what I normally do too is I get you get a list of all the names. So you get up to 200. Well, you get 25. I provide every month up to 200. And with the list I give you all, I give you 25, usually a few extras, but you get a list of the names, at least, of all the other groups. You just don't get all their contact information, but you get the name of that group. So you could review all those names and be like, whoa. You could at least vet them out to see if it might be association for you. And that's kind of the point, okay? So here's another one more for you. This is the annual conference for AONL. And let's see, I'm not sure what AONL, that's obviously an acronym, but it's the American Hospital Association. So it's probably the Association of something nurse leaders, orthopedic nurse leaders, perhaps. I'm not sure. But the point is, boom, you've got, if anything in the the hospital or healthcare is your potential industry, I would look at that group right there. Okay. So again, look, there's in-reach, there's outreach. I'm focusing with you on the outreach because that's going to help us with our target associations. Other type of in-reach are the paid event calendar, Thumbtack, Gig Salad, setting up Google alerts. We'll talk about those a little bit later because today's already been a horse pill. I thought this video would maybe be 10 minutes, and I think it's probably now hitting almost close to 20. So what we want to do, focus, do one thing at a time. This is your week's project, your month's project. Focus on identifying and verifying your target audience. Okay? Woohoo! So friends, Tuesday, June 1st, that's our next meeting. Look forward to seeing you there. And until then, all right? All right, take care. Bye.